A by-election for the Bukit Batok single-member constituency in Singapore was concluded on polling day of 7 May 2016, with Murali Pillai as the winning candidate. This followed the sudden resignation of incumbent Member of Parliament David Ong Kim Wat of the People's Action Party on 12 March 2016. On 20 April, President Tony Tan Keng Yam issued the writs of election. On 27 April, two candidates were nominated, Murali Pillai of the People's Action Party and Chee Soon Wan of the Singapore Democratic Party. The by-election was the 13th of its kind since Singapore's independence. Ong's resignation as MP. David Ong's sudden resignation, due to personal reasons, and having admitted committing a personal indiscretion on 12 March 2016 from politics as an incumbent Member of Parliament from the People's Action Party, PAP, set up a potential by-election for the Bukit Batok single-member constituency. Ong's offer to resign was accepted by PAP's Secretary-General Lee Hsien Loong, who was also the Prime Minister of Singapore. The explanation offered by the Singapore media was that Ong was having an extramarital affair with a 41-year-old woman, Wendy Lim, who is also a member and grassroots volunteer of the People's Action Party. Ong's alleged affair went on over nearly 6 months before it went public after the husband of Wendy Lim lodged a complaint about it. The role handling Bukit Batok SMC is tentatively taken up by incumbent Member of Parliament of Jurong Group Representation Constituency Desmond Lee pending the result of a by-election electing a new MP. Calling of by-election. On 20 April 2016, President Tony Tan Keng Yam issued the writs of election. Nomination day would be on 27 April 2016, followed by 9 days for campaigning before the mandatory cooling-off day on 6 May 2016, and lastly polling day would be on 7 May 2016. Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong said that after the 2016 budget was passed by the Singapore Parliament on 14 April, with President Tan announcing his assent on 15 April. Candidates. Two candidates for election were nominated on 27 April 2016, Murali Pillai of the People's Action Party, PAP, and Chee Soon Wan of the Singapore Democratic Party, SDP. 3 other men had applied for political donation certificates but were not nominated as candidates. Kwan Yu Kang, 68, from the People's Power Party, PPP, who was a candidate for Bukit Batok SMC, representing SDP, in the 1988 and 1991 general elections, but lost twice to the PAP's candidate Ong Chit Chung. Kwan was prepared to contest to prevent a PAP walkover if only SDP's Chee was disqualified. This was agreed between the SDP and the PPP. Since Chee was successfully nominated, the PPP withdrew its candidate. Abdul Rahim Osman, 59, formerly from the Workers' Party, WP, in the 1997 general election. He was a candidate as part of a WP team contesting for the Cheng San Group Representation constituency. In 2016, Osman collected the political donation certificate but ultimately decided not to contest and backed PAP's Pillai. Sherwin Yu, 32, an Uber driver, who failed to meet the nomination requirements of a proposer, a seconder, and 4 assenters from Bukit Batok SMC. 5 opposition parties, including the PPP, had earlier ruled out contesting in the by-election. The rest were the Democratic Progressive Party, the Singapore Democratic Alliance. Campaigning. Chee campaigned with the slogan of "Now is the time," and his campaign used technology and social media widely. By April 21, Chee had put together a team of 4 to advise the SDP in the first 100 days on how to take over and run the town council should they win. She also pledged that the SDP wanted to surpass current levels of performance of PAP-run town councils. It was reported on April 23 that the SDP had prepared 4 social schemes for Bukit Batok residents. If she won, 1. Hearts for Bukit Batok, where needy families would be adopted and helped, including with a trust fund. Additionally, she said he would use part of his salary as MP to help 10 families. 2. Pathfinder, targeting youth with books, fairs, sports and subsidized tuition for the poor. 3. Dollars and cents, a financial clinic. 4. Legal Lifeline, a clinic for legal advice. On April 24, Pillai revealed a plan by the PAP Jurong Clementi Town Council to upgrade infrastructure around blocks 140 to 149 of the SMC, which would cost $1.9 million. PAP could only carry out that specific plan if they won, with Pillai saying, "If we don't have the mandate, then we won't have the ability to carry on because we will not form the town council." Quote. On April 26, Pillai unveiled his manifesto focusing on the 3 domains of jobs, social mobility and the elderly. For the first domain, Pillai proposed a program to help the unemployed find jobs faster. For the second domain, volunteers would inspire children from low-income families to aim high to succeed in life. For the third domain, a health cooperative would be implemented to help sandwiched families by increasing medical literacy and subsidizing consumables for the elderly. Additionally, Pillai also proposed an emergency button scheme for elderly living alone to alert neighbors or community volunteers of a need for help. On April 27, she pledged that if elected, he would be a full-time MP, making the comparison, quote, "Every morning when Mr. Morali wakes up, his first destination will be his office. When I wake up every morning, my first destination is Bukit Batok." Quote. In response, Pillai said, "I would always put Bukit Batok residents' needs above mine." He also replied that PAP MPs have been able to juggle being an MP with an additional day job, while residents could not be served by just one person and a team approach is needed. On May 3, she said while he thought his opponent was Pillai, it is turning out to be everybody else except him. Well, Pillai was not saying anything. This came after multiple serving ministers from the PAP had commented on or responded to Chi during the by-election. On May 4, Chi said that his party's comparative advantage would be evident in Parliament, where he could make a qualitative difference, challenging ministers to justify their positions on issues. She criticized how Singaporean ministers have not been challenged intellectually, and thus were able to make motherhood statements and things that do not really make a lot of sense. Amongst the national issues she would champion discussing include the Central Provident Fund, financial assistance for the elderly, fixing and extending the progressional wage system, and retrenchment insurance. Bukit Batok SMC. As of April 21, there are 25,727 registered voters. They account for 56% of the total resident population of Bukit Batok SMC. Approximately 96% of the resident population live in public housing. Election rallies. The Singapore Police Force announced on Nomination Day, the 27th of April 2016, a list of sites available for electoral meetings. Such meetings could be held from the 28th of April to the 5th of May between 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. The police also announced that Speaker's Corner would not serve as an unrestricted area during the campaigning period. All rallies below are held between 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Polling stations. On the 7th of May 2016, which is the polling day for Bukit Batok by-election 2016, 25. 727 registered voters will cast their votes at the 9 polling stations in Bukit Batok SMC, 6 at HDB void decks, 1 at a pavilion and 2 at secondary school canteens, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. At 8 p.m. all ballot boxes are sealed and sent to the counting centers. Results. Sample count. Similar to the 2015 general election, sample counts were released by the Elections Department prior to the announcement of the official results to prevent unnecessary speculation and reliance on unofficial sources of information while counting is still underway.